All right, so here we are today. Like I said earlier, it's second period. We're doing vector addition and that sort of thing. Today we're working with our veneer equipment, and we're going to be doing a lab to determine the final velocity of a cart, and we'll be looking at our experimental data compared to our theoretical data, or the data we come up with on our actual problems.
You look too happy.
I know. Because we're on video right now.
Can they hear it?
Yes, they can hear us. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go over what you need to do right quick, and then I'm going to let you get started. We have all the equipment in front of you set up for you already. We have laptops up here for you to write your lab reports on. My email is actually on the board, mr.wferrier@gmail.com. Okay, and let's see. That's about all we need to know for now. All right. So I gave you the lab sheets yesterday, but just in case you're still confused, here's what we're supposed to do. Okay? Here's what you're supposed to do. For each of those four angles that I gave you, for each of those four angles, I want you to do a vector addition problem. I want you to do a vector addition problem. For each of those vector addition problems, the parallel force is actually going to be our net force. Why is it our net force? Because we have frictionless tracks. These tracks have no friction. All right? So we're going to have our net force being equal to our parallel force. All right? So you use your parallel force as your net force when you find acceleration. Find your acceleration for each of your problems. Use your acceleration and a distance you take. I suggest 50 centimeters or 0.5 meters. Find your final velocity for each of those four angles, what you think it's going to be. After you're done finding what you think it's going to be, you take your data. Okay? For each data point, you set the ramp to the angle that I gave you. Pull it back to the distance you specified. So if it's, let's say this is at 108 and you said 50 centimeters, pull this back to 58, obviously. And then let it roll. Let it bounce a couple of times, then you can press stop. Okay? The first data point that it takes is the data point that you're going to use for your final velocity. Okay? That's the data point you're going to compare to your theoretical one, the one you came up with by actually doing the problems. Okay? Once you get your experimental, you will do percent error, and that will go in your lab report. If you need any information about what to do on the lab report, it's just a piece of paper I gave you about it yesterday. If you don't have one of those, I can give you one. All right, how's that sound? Are we good? All right. Also, before we get started, there are a few people dressed up. Who all dressed up?
Me.
Dressed up. Are you thinking one? Who's thinking two?
Brad Smith.
Brad Smith.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, what are you? Pac-Man. I like it.
That's what
Is someone a dog?
What?
Is there someone who's Mrs. Pac-Man, or are you Mrs.?
Make our Superman, Superman, and our Superman.
It's in your street clothes. You're Clark Kent, right?
John Lawrence.
That's what you should have said.
Dressed as Daft Punk.
Excuse you, I love
Bro, who are you dressed up with?
Hey,
Where Achilles?
It's fair.
Cool.
Do you know who Daft Punk is on the VMAs? The robot people?
Who, what? Oh, yeah, Daft Punk.
John Lawrence and Grayson Wolver dressed as
Yeah, that was good.
It's good. It's really good.
I want to see him. I'd be impressed. I'd be really impressed. All right, so.
Can I bring him to you in third period?
Sure, I'll be here. All right, so what you need to be doing now, if you have completed your initial problems, like the first four vector addition problems with the angles I gave you, then you can go ahead and move on to the experimental data.
Wait, no.
And if you've actually already completed the experimental data, we have computers up here for you to do your lab reports on. All right. So you may get started. You have the rest of class to finish this up. If you don't finish the lab report today in class, you can email it to me later on today or tomorrow. Okay? We'll be doing something different tomorrow, so this is the last chance you have to take your data. All right? Any questions before we get started? Nope. All right, you can break up into groups.
Can we move in front of the camera?
You did.
Are you back there?
Oh, that's
I tighten the spring as much as possible.
On Monday,
Is the camera still going?
Yeah.
Is it good? Does it continue?
I think you're ready right left. Yes.
Look how loose this is. Look at how loose. It's just a 45-second long video, isn't it?
Only my phone.
What, this?
Video.
They were for one day. I don't know if I'll do that.
Because people have other people do too, so it's good.
Alright, but yeah, make sure you do 50% difference. Everything you do. Oh my God. What are you doing?
What is it?
Yes, I'll get that prototype.
Come back.
You can test it out.
Double tap to upgrade what? You can upgrade this. Because it's not.
And then divide that by your mass. That, the distance is what you come up with. I do.
That was him.
I didn't do it.
Spencer. Just because you have blue hair doesn't mean you can drop things.
I'm saying one.
Tell him the opposite.
Yes.
You can't
Grab it,
drop
just drop it.
How you set it to the right angle?
No.
Whatever you correct on. The correct angle. The easiest way to do
Right
it
in my middle
is close to
point.
the edge. Like the whole thing close to the edge. I don't like it. Put that
Be like, sit down. Be like, no! Don't sit down.
Right, then you can just do it right there. At this angle right here is what you're doing. Protractor. Yeah, so put that up right there.
Crazy.
Good?
Would you rather this string be loose or tight?
Probably.
You haven't seen Cat in the Hat, have you?
I have. Yes.
You gotta sit down. You're like, no. Don't sit down.
Basically, put that in there. Your data in there. Put air in there.
Why can this thing not stay on top?
And then,
Does it take pictures?
Yeah.
High quality.
Yeah, it's 1080p. Can you connect these guys? Hey, Mr. Ferrier.
Now, what you doing?
Zach, you have to do your after that part. Can you like connect these tracks together?
Tracks? I don't think so.
Wait.
Yes.
Zach.
Correct. Whoa. No. No.
How can you do this?
0.58 minus 0.275. It's probably like 0.25, right?
Yeah, like the cancer? Yes. No. Now do it on this.
You gotta experiment on this.
What is it, 13 degrees?
0.58 minus 0.275. Right. Alright, divide that by 0.275.
Yeah, how can I?
Jeez, that's... Yeah, that's right.
I imagine it's gonna be.
Yeah, you did it right. 13's have a big error. It's fine, but...
Hey, 13 is 40, 30,
Yeah.
20. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I prefer
Sub-beans for beans.
Is that good?
That is true.
Okay, somebody do it.
Have you tried the
From what distance?
0 point? No. The same here. Ready? And then like we have to kind of get that one out. You don't need to see. Yeah, it's like no, it's a commercial for gelato. It's
25 will probably be.
no, it's like a cappuccino flavor. Okay, we're gonna do 0.25. Ready? Yeah, it's 0.25. I put 0.25. And it's just like and every time we it's like
Hold on, I measure the angle.
Just like you jumping on
I got
how's it going? What? Yeah, press play. Glance. Let it go. There you go. Good stuff.
yeah, it's like damn.
That. There you go. 0.69. That's your data point.
I mentioned like
That's the final velocity for that engine. I got to Good. I'll just hold it. Is this 13 degrees?
another one. It's
You tell me. Looks pretty steep, but hey.
yeah, it is.
Alright, 2.25, so. You gotta wait.
I'm real hot. That's not possible. Okay, we have 460.
Well, if you really want to do it, that's the distance, right? And what distance it is, and then you could use that. I know. You have to determine the initial velocity. Or you could throw it. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Velocity 0.2.
That was a nice try.
Yeah. What'd you get? One. Yeah. No, 1.00. That's it.
No, trash.
Add 18. I don't know what you're doing.
That's terrible. How's the data going? How close are you?
No, I'm serious. I got 1.002.
You should be in your calculation.
This one. What is A?
You write it out? He didn't write it out.
Divide 0.
Gotta write it out, man. You're gonna have issues. I don't know. Yes.
Oh my God, Jack, please, he's in the bra.
It's gonna be points.
63.
What distance did you use for all the rest of them? 0.6?
That's scary.
I was like, wait, what for this one?
Yeah, so you use 2 times 2.02. 2.07. Yeah. Times 2 times 0. It's 1.
Oh, those wrong. Yes. A lot of that.
Have you watched Italia?
D1.005.
I was thinking, I just wanted
Yeah, I think I watched it the other day. I said no, and then I watched it the other day.
So you know who's getting on alternate? Okay.
What? I'm only like,
Okay. No, I said, like, I watched for dynamics. Do kids you understand that more than part of the game? And it is an awesome series.
it is, but they're only
was like
25 episodes.
0.6.
Yeah. Well, there's also 2 seasons though.
It's only 13.
That's what.
No, go to Anime Free.
That was the theoretical.
I really want second season.
Experimental. Hey, how was What was
I love Canadian.
If you want to see all of them, go to animefree.tv and only some of them watch But I know they suck. But he can understand Japanese. So you know what they're saying.
Yes.
So but go to animefreak.tv, they have all the episodes.
Yeah, I don't like anything.
What is that?
No. You only evaluate
Do you watch
Write down point. Write down point.
His skin from Minecraft. His Chewbacca.
Protractor is not a shield.
Oh,
Write down.
have you ever watched your
Yes.
that?
Yeah, no, the animation. She did some Nigri is an amazing Oh, kill it.
How's your day going back here?
We have everything. So
How do you do the lab reporting? There you go.
do it like that.
Yes.
Yeah, you wanna look like a guy. Like you should practice from like
Huh?
things that you don't.
Outside?
Yeah, and just come like game plan on that.
I think it helps out some of that.
You can wait.
No, it's not.
Not that big. The camera can see whatever you do.
Who was it? Genia and his girlfriend. Oh, definitely. That was awesome. No, but really. I want to try and do one that was.
Enough voice analyzation. So, that's already. Yeah, there you go.